Some of you guys might get into this stuff, some might not. My phone won't focus. There we go. So, we moved for about 2 hours tonight, and I used to have a Ford Lightning as a 2003 with a supercharged 5.4 liter pickup, and there was a kit that you could buy to keep the oil from the PVC or PCV system from sending oil into the supercharger on the intake side, because it would coat the cooling fins and on the intercooler, and it would kind of jack things up. So they came up with a oil separator of some kind that somebody came up with a real simple idea, and you put it in line between the breather from the valve cover over to the injection side, where the air would bleed back into the air filter side. So I implemented the same thing on this because I noticed that the breather injects itself back into the intake here, and I noticed that when I pull this off, after I pulled the hose off, there was a lot of oil on the inside of the hose here, which means that, you know, it's oil filled air venting back into the air filter system. So it's actually clogging your air filter as it flows backward as well, potentially. Now the air is being sucked into the motor, so it should suck it back into the motor, but it's just going to get the turbo vanes filthy as well as everything else. There's no reason for it to be in there. The engine wasn't designed to have oil in the air, and the more blowback you get from the motor, eventually, the worse it'll be. So, and the inside of this hose here is caked pretty, I guess you could say, decent, you know, from years of use. And it's a 2004 motor, so it's probably all original hoses as far as I know. Well, the air filter assembly is new. So I bought this kit here, paid 12 bucks for it, and I had to bend the bracket like such. Here I made this bend right here in the corner, so I could mount it. I drilled some holes and mounted here with some stainless steel hardware. But take a look at this. This after 2 hours. That's quite a bit of oil. Okay, so all that oil is getting shoved right back into the motor for no reason whatsoever. It's not designed to have that oil in the intake to shove it back into the cylinders. If it was designed that way, it wouldn't have been done over a hose like such that can easily crack or break like it was cracked. So I went and bought a new hose today to replace the hose that was on it, because it might have been puking out on the motor too, and, you know, making a little bit of mess where the dust will accumulate. But look at that after 2 hours. So a full day of mowing, that thing would be full for sure. So for size comparison, here's my hand. Some people say I have big hands, so and the way you drain this, you push on that pepcock on the bottom there, and it'll drain out. You'd have to have something to drain it on, maybe a paper towel or something like that, or you could simply just dump it back into the motor itself. So this part here unscrews from it, so you lower it down, mount it someplace where it's not going to interfere or hit anything. I haven't tried taking this off yet to see if it'll hit anything, but it's the best place I could think of to put it was right there. And let it focus again. And so if you've got a diesel, or even if you have a gas motor, there's nothing wrong with doing this on the breather side. On your crankcase vent through your valve cover, and just dump the oil right back in if you want. It's just simply oil that's in the air, and it cavitates the top end of your motor. And I just routed it back over along the overflow coolant line here to keep it up out of the fan. Plugged it back in. Went to Napa, got some new hose here. This is new hose, this original hose. I cut the ends off to where it's not all broken, beat up like it was. So, but yeah, it's a pretty good running motor, and I think it runs even better now, keeping the oil out of the intake side, because it shouldn't be there. Now the turbo should clean up as well then, because it's not getting barraged with, you know, oil in the air as it's coming in. So let me know what you think. I can get you a part number if you want for that set up there. I think I paid $12 for it, and it didn't break the bank. Oh yeah, I forgot about this part. And it comes with all these barbs. So I forgot about that. It comes with all these barbs. So I've got tons of extra barbs for $11. You can't even buy 2 barbs at a hardware store hardly for $11. So now I got a ton of barbs for other projects. But let me know what you think. Maybe this is helpful to you. But that's after 2 hours, guys. Imagine how much oil is being dumped into your motor.